What was your evaluation there?
We got a lot of work to do. As a team, we got a lot of young football players, a lot of young guys on the team. In our two deep, and especially when you scrimmage and you're playing 1s, 2s, and 3s. We got to get a lot better. We have another scrimmage next Friday, so we got to take a huge step forward. Because installation now is pretty much done. There's little things we're adding here and there. Little packages on offense, little packages on defense, but most stuff's in right now. So now we're going to find the guys that are committed and want to learn and want to get on the field and want to excel at a high level.
From your side, how did Elijah's transfer go down? I mean, when did he kind of talk to you about it?
We met and talked about it, and I appreciate how he handled everything. He handled everything really well. I don't take that stuff very lightly. It was a very mature conversation about future and where we're at, where he's at, and what he feels best. And so we supported him in that decision.
How easy was that conversation? Because like you said, you've been having those talks with him throughout.
Well, I don't know that it's easy, but I think the fact that it was a thought out, mature it wasn't a. We went through all different steps of all different scenarios and possibilities, and I think when you do that, it's not an emotional decision. It's not anything. We're looking at it. I've said it. That the quarterback's a tough position. I mean, we got 4 guys. None of them are seniors. I think guys want to play, so they're going to look at it and say, okay, am I in the best situation for me? It's a little different than other positions, I think, at the quarterback position sometimes. And so I wasn't shocked by any of it. And but like I said, the conversation itself was a mature conversation with well thought out decision points. So I think that's much easier to have those conversations about young people's futures.
What was one of the main reasons for him that he decided to go elsewhere?
I think he just felt opportunity for him is where he was at, and I don't know if he. I think he was getting a great opportunity here. I think in his decision, he thought, I might not be ready right now, and is that going to put me behind later on? And to be honest with you, this is the time for him to try to go get a fresh start somewhere. If you wait too long, sometimes you can't get that fresh start.
What was the best part of doing it now rather than maybe after the season, like you kind of just...
Well, it was that. It's all based on eligibility, It's based on eligibility. If he goes and sits out this year, he still has 2 years to play, where if he didn't, he'd be down to 1.
How are you still now dividing up the snaps evenly, or is it getting close to time to start breaking it down?
No, we're going to try to be even all the way through next week's scrimmage, and then we'll if it's defined itself, we'll start doing it. But until it defines itself, we're going to keep it the same.
And that decision kind of helps you out as well, I'm assuming, because it gets 33% reps instead of just 25. Is that fair to say as well, that it kind of helps you evaluate?
Yes and no. I guess. Each quarterback now has 8% more throws, so they're going to be a little bit more tired. They get more reps, but they're going to, the wear and tear on the guys. We got to stay healthy, or it can trickle bad in a hurry.
What was your impressions of the quarterbacks last night?
I didn't think they played very well at all, but it's stuff. It's fixable things, it's stuff that they got into a game situation, and instead of managing the offense and you look, fundamentals weren't very good. Everything kind of really happened fast for them instead of just trusting their reads, doing what they're supposed to do. Great fundamentals, technique. They kind of started slow, made some mistakes, and then started trying to make plays, and that made it worse.
Did Elijah play in the scrimmage last night?
No.
Okay.
When you look at your offensive line, you got more experience back this year, and you got some backups that played a lot that are battling for starting positions. I know it's early, but how have you seen that group so far?
They're coming along because we're still trying to get the depth right, because you got to have more than 5 to make it through a season. So we're trying to let those guys play with different combinations on the field, move some guys, move the chess pieces around. So guys are having to play with different guys on the field, but it's coming along. We have a lot. I think we got some young guys. It's kind of very split. We got a bunch of seniors. got a bunch of young guys, and there's no one in the middle, so that's what's interesting.
With Martinez redshirting last year, what have you seen? Obviously, how did that year help him?
Well, I think, gave an opportunity to know the offense, be ready to play at this speed, and potentially compete to be a 2-year starter instead of being a role player and competing to be a 1-year starter. And I think, so I think that helps him long term in his career.
When you look at the, go ahead, Ben.
What have you seen from Maurice Smitherman at the safety position?
He's done a good job. I think Maurice is a physical player. He played corner physically for us. Plays the game with a physical mindset, so I think the transition to safety is easy for him. He's a really sharp kid, so having to adjust, make calls, and do all those things has come pretty natural.
He mentioned that he was going to play safety up until the scrimmage and maybe go back to corner. What are y'all's plans for him these next couple of weeks?
Well, we got to see. I think he's doing a really good job where he is. He's competing to start to get reps at in safety, so we'll probably stick with that and just see. But again, you got to be ready this time of year. You move a couple of guys around. We got guys moving, playing some multiple positions because you got to be ready with injuries and other things that happen throughout the course of the season for guys to be multiple.
Yeah, jumping off of that with Gary and Jonathan Calvin going to Viper, how did they make that transition in the first game action?
Yeah, good. Gary's playing a bunch of different spots. Right. John Calvin's playing different spots, but I think you want to because you could be starting at one spot, a backup at another. It gives you the opportunity. We always want the opportunity to get the best players we can on the field situationally, and if there's injuries, we might have to move some pieces around to get the best guys on the field. And the more guys that you have that have had flexibility, especially in camp, that week 4 they might have to make an adjustment, but it's something they've done in training camp, even if they didn't do it in the first 3 games that much.
Fred Ross told us that he wanted to be 100% by the first scrimmage. Do you think he was close to that last night?
I don't know about that. I know he didn't do anything. He won't do anything in the next scrimmage either.
How quickly?
He might be 100%. That's good. He could be 100% cheering on the sidelines. I know when I want him 100%. That's going to be that first Saturday in September.
How quickly has Jordan Thomas kind of grasped the offense in these first couple of weeks?
He's struggling a little bit because it's like anything. It's a lot faster than what he's used to being in. The speed of the game, he's got to get used to being. He's a big athletic guy, and what he's got to do is get used to using his tools, because there's a lot of other big athletic guys that are out there in the field, and but if he's bigger, stronger than somebody, he physically needs to dominate him. He's more athletic; he needs to athletically dominate him, and not just kind of do his thing, where he was maybe better than everybody at the previous level. So I think they're learning that adjustment's always the hard one for guys, especially not coming in, not having a spring to go through, and this is all first time for them.
Talking to Jamal Graham earlier in the week, he seems real confident at the cornerback position. What kind of progress have you seen from him these last couple of years?
Well, he definitely doesn't lack confidence in anything that he does. So I guess corner's a good spot for him because you gotta have a short memory. You gotta be a confident guy to go make plays. So, but I think he is. I think. He's coming along. He's coming along nicely, starting to make plays, starting to be more consistent. As we tell with our guys, especially young guys, it's a huge transition from being a playmaker to being a consistent player. There's a massive difference between the two. And so what you have to do is you got to be a consistent player that has the ability to make great plays. And, the sooner guys learn that, the sooner they're going to become starters.
The defensive staff said it helped them a lot that they were all new because they had a blank slate rather than trying to take over or understand a new guy. How have you seen that help them?
Well, I think for everybody that just working together, there's no predisposed anything, so they can work very well together. There's good and bad with that, I guess, at times too, because I'll educate them on some things on the field and say, hey, I've seen this before, I've seen that before out of our guys. We got to manage this situation or that situation. But I think for the players, it's a little refreshing because they know, hey, I got a chance to prove to these guys what I can do. And I think for the staff and them working together, that, hey, we're all new, we're all together. I think it allows them to kind of bond together a little bit better as a whole.
Have you had a chance at all, and it may not be anything really to talk about, but to talk with Josh Robinson since the other night, the events of the other night?
No, I haven't talked to him. So, I mean, like I said, I to be honest with you, the exception of some, probably I saw a little bit, was probably some irresponsible journalism. That's about all I know about the whole situation. I didn't really spend much time to even look into it.